Und willkommen zurück zu Let's Play Shinrai Broken Beyond bisher. Genau, Broken Beyond das. Wir machen jetzt hier weiter und hören uns mal die Geschichte an von Runa. Was passiert ist, nachdem wir unten im Keller waren, also beziehungsweise während wir unten im Keller waren und Taiko noch hier drin war. So think real hard about it. That applies to all of you. I want everyone to tell me their version of what happened. If we put all of them together, we might be able to figure something out. Okay, wenn es jetzt schon um their version geht, dann denke ich mal, dass sie sich tatsächlich aufgeteilt haben und eventuell so sogar Möglichkeiten hatten, etwas zu tun. Womit Runa wahrscheinlich auch ihr Alibi verlieren würde. Yeah, that sounds like a good plan. What about Shiratake-san und Aiga-san? Shouldn't we get them too? They have been gone for a rather long while now anyway. Rie and I quickly checked on them on our way back from the breaker room. They're still grieving, so let's give them a few more minutes. If they're still not back by the time I have heard what you guys have to say, we'll just go up and get them. Alright. So, while all of you get your brain gears working and make sure not to miss any details, I'm gonna start with Raiko-chan first. Warum mit mir? Me? Yes. You and Nobara-chan were the first ones to leave after Rie got back from turning the power off, so... I see. Let's go over there, okay? Should I come too? No, we'll do this one after another. Ja, damit du schon mal prüfen kannst, dass wir uns nicht absprechen oder sowas, ne? Falls wir zwei verschiedene Geschichten erzählen. Wäre ja dann... Macht Sinn, die Leute alle einzeln zu befragen. Okay. With that settled, Taiko once again pointed towards the sliding doors before moving ahead. I followed him until we were standing right in the entrance area, with enough distance from the others that they wouldn't be able to hear us. Jetzt weiß ich, wer die Tür verschlossen hat von innen. Die fette Spinne. Problem gelöst? Alles gelöst, die Spinne ist schuld. Ich wusste schon immer, dass diese Dinger uns irgendwann mal den Tod bringen. So, gut, genau, wir sind jetzt da, wo die uns nicht hören können. Alright then. I'll cut right to the chase, since I'm sure you already know what's up. During our discussion there, you didn't say a thing, but I could tell that you were deep in thought, and I couldn't help but notice your expression a minute ago. You realized something, didn't you? Ja, dass es ein Mord war, ne? The real reason I wanted to talk to you one-on-one is that I want some confirmation. Confirmation? Yeah. I want to know if we've come to the same realization. I see. I already figured as much. Of course you did. You're a clever girl after all. And that's why I want your opinion on this matter. I probably don't even need to say anything else. You should already know what I'm getting at. I did indeed. It was more than obvious that Taiko had also thought of the possibility of a murder. And just like me, he was unsure about it. Or rather, he wanted to believe that there was no way Momoko's death could have been murder. So he was asking for my honest opinion on this matter. If I was going to tell him it was suicide, he'd probably feel a lot better. If I was going to tell him that I had also thought of the possibility of a murder, it would further strengthen his own suspicions. Und das ist auch das, was es wahrscheinlich weiterbringt. Wir brauchen jetzt niemanden, der sich einfach nur beruhigt. Wir brauchen Leute, die auch nicht die Augen vor der Wahrheit verschließen. So, what was I going to tell him? It was the work of a ghost! It was either suicide or murder. Murder. Part of me was hoping not to hear that word coming from your mouth. Then again, if you hadn't said it, I would have probably accused you of not being honest with me. Ja, aber ich bin ehrlich. Das ist das, was Rationaldenken jetzt am meisten Sinn ergibt. Leuten nicht einfach nur noch die Augen vor der Wahrheit zu verschließen. Und er ist ja sozusagen im Moment der Einzige, wo es Sinn macht, dass er es nicht sein kann, weil er die ganze Zeit in diesem Raum war und gar keine Zeit hatte, den Raum zu verlassen. Also er war ja sogar noch da, als Runa und war das Mika? Als die wiedergekommen sind, war er ja sogar noch hier. Und da hatte ja Kodoba gerade erst den Raum verlassen. Und da hatte er eigentlich nicht genug Zeit, währenddessen noch irgendwo hinzugehen. Obwohl ich jetzt allerdings nicht weiß, wenn Kodoba jetzt weg ist, kann es natürlich auch sein, dass Taiko, bevor Runa und so wiedergekommen sind, rausgegangen ist und irgendwas gemacht hat. Und Taiko einfach den Perversling beseitigt hat, damit er nichts sagen kann. Weil der ist ja jetzt komischerweise weg, ne? There's no way around it, is there? It's at least a possibility. Momoko's strange behavior, the fact that someone purposely isolated us from the outside world, the parallels to Hiro's ghost story, and a bunch of other small details that don't add up. I still have no clue how all these things fit together. Or heck, if all of them even fit together. But one thing's for certain. This is not just a simple suicide. There's a lot more to it. I agree. However, all of this is nothing more than baseless conjecture right now. It certainly is. And that's a good thing, because it means nothing's set in stone yet. And obviously I'd rather think it was suicide than, you know. Besides, I have no idea how the murderer could have done it. Well, I do have a theory actually, but I don't want to share it just yet. There's a few things I want to be sure about before I start spouting nonsense. That's why I need to know the exact movements of everyone during the blackout. Yeah, interesting. This guy. Had we come to the same conclusion yet again? I also had my own theory as to how a murderer might have pulled this off. However, as of right now, I didn't possess any actual evidence to back it up. It was all just theorizing. And I really didn't want to jump to any further conclusions. Also hatte ich vielleicht sogar recht, dass das so unser Hilfsdetektiv ist. I had already made enough assumptions despite knowing better. So before I made any more, I wanted to collect all the information we could get first. Especially about what had happened during the blackout. Oh, by the way. Don't mention any of this to the others, alright? We shouldn't unnecessarily worry them. Not as long as there's no concrete evidence pointing towards, you know. Understood. Good. Guess it's time to start the questioning then. We're doing this together, of course. With your help, I'm pretty sure figuring this out won't be a problem. So I'm counting on you, alright? Okay. Ach, guck mal, sie wird wieder rot. Now I felt slightly pressured. He seemed quite confident in my judgment and deductive reasoning. I had to make sure not to disappoint him. In any case, before we actually started questioning the others, he still wanted to know what had happened on Barra-chan's and my quest to switch the power back on, so I told him everything. Once that was taken care of, however, it was finally time to shed some light on what had occurred here during that accursed blackout. Yay! Komme ich jetzt wieder? Ja! Ich kann wieder mit Leuten reden. Warum steht da Fragezeichen? Reden wir erstmal mit Taiko. So, you wanna talk to me? Alright then. What do you wanna know? Ja, zum Beispiel, wann Kotoba das verlassen hat und so, ne? That idiot. I can't believe he lied to me. Just what the hell is he thinking? Vanishing like that? Why does he always have to pull this kind of crap? I hope he's alright. I'm really worried about him. Wir wissen immer noch nicht, wo ist, ne? He wasn't with Carmen and Hiro when Rie and I checked on them. He's not in the restrooms either. And he couldn't have left the resort since Rie locked the entrance, so... Es sei denn, er hat es verlassen, während wir kurz draußen waren. Das Resort war ja für eine kurze Zeit nicht abgeschlossen. Das war, als wir gerade draußen waren und hinten durchgehen wollten, um zu gucken, ob wir in den Keller kommen können. Und vielleicht war das ja auch der Plan, dass er so abhauen kann. Where the heck could he be? Are you really sure he's not inside the breaker room? That seems to be the only possible answer. Ja, und wer sagt, dass er überhaupt noch lebt? Vielleicht ist er ja im Breaker Room, aber antwortet nicht, weil er nicht mehr bei Bewusstsein ist. Well, of course I can't be 100% sure, but it just wouldn't make sense. He's done some really stupid things in the past, but whenever he went too far and I told him to stop, he listened. So it's weird he wouldn't reply to me. Besides, I mentioned the whole thing about Momoko. At least that should have caused him to get out of there, like instantly. Es sei denn, er hat das nicht mitgekriegt und konnte dich nicht hören. Oder er konnte nicht antworten oder irgendwas. Vielleicht ist er auch gefesselt da unten. Nevertheless, he must be there. Where else could he be? Hiding somewhere else in the dark? Would that make any more sense? I guess not. But if he's really in there and isn't replying to me, that worries me even more. You probably don't have any doubts about him being behind the current power outage, and I can't really blame you for that. Still, you have to believe me when I say this. I know this guy far better than any of you. And locking himself up in the breaker room after turning the power off? That's just not like him. There is nothing he'd gain from doing this. Ja, außer dass er sich einen abfriert. Raiko seemed to feel really strong about this, and I could understand why. He wanted to trust his friend, but maybe this was just blinding him. This trust was blinding him. Someone had to be inside the breaker room. Warum? Wer sagt denn, dass da jemand drin sein muss? Nur weil der abgeschlossen ist, heißt es ja nicht, dass da jemand drin ist. Jemand hat das Fenster von innen zugemacht und den Raum dann abgeschlossen. Aber, how else could the locked door and window be explained? Es kann auch jemand von außen abgeschlossen haben. Das Fenster von innen und dann die Tür von außen. And unfortunately, the only possible suspect was Kodoba. I guess it really was weird that he wouldn't answer his friend and come out, not even after hearing about Momoko. But maybe he was just thinking it was a lie to lure him out. Or maybe there was something preventing him from replying. Or maybe he did have something to gain from doing this. Da, sie hat jetzt auch schon angesprochen, vielleicht hat ihn irgendwas davon abgehalten, zu antworten. Das ist nämlich das, was ich mir eventuell auch gedacht habe. Vielleicht ist er wirklich da drin und kann einfach nicht antworten, weil, keine Ahnung, er hat einen Knebel im Mund oder was weiß ich, oder er ist bewusstlos. Kann alles sein. Wegen Kodoba und Momoko hat er ja angesprochen, dass die beiden irgendwie, dass er auf sie steht, ne? So earlier you said that Kodoba's interested in Momoko, right? Well, you know him. He's interested in everyone. There's really nothing he wants more than a partner to hook up with. And he's so desperate that he'd do literally anything to achieve that, as well to settle for anyone, whether it's a girl or a boy. But when it comes to his actual dream partner, Momoko, no doubt. After she got together with Hiro, he kinda gave up on her a little. But before that, oh boy, he would write her dozens of love letters, try asking her out every single day, and even make her little handmade gifts and such. I myself was surprised how serious he was about it. He was almost obsessed with her, you could say. He certainly never went to such lengths for anyone else. That's really unexpected. Ja, vielleicht ist er aber auch in diesem Fall das eifersüchtige Mädchen, aus der Geschichte, ne? Dass er sich gedacht hat, ja, wenn ich dich nicht haben kann, soll auch kein anderer dich haben. Möglich ist es. Isn't it? It made me feel really bad for him, getting rejected every single time. And on top of all that, Momoko eventually ended up with Hiro. Ja, dem eingebildeten Penner. You've probably realized it already, but Kodoba really can't stand that guy's guts. But it's not just because he took Momoko away from him. Hiro and Kodoba never got along. Yes. I certainly had witnessed those two argue and jump at each other's throats at school a lot. Hiro was exactly the kind of guy Kodoba couldn't stand, and Kodoba was exactly the kind of guy Hiro couldn't stand. An arrogant, self-loving big mouth and a low-life, good-for-nothing piece of trash. Or at least that was how they liked to refer to each other whenever they got into a fight. That Momoko chose that guy over him made him really mad, but there wasn't much he could do about it except accept it. Accept und accept klingt ja so ähnlich, ne? Like I said, he tried to give up on Momoko and focus his love on other girls some more, but she's still his number one. Which is why it's so weird that he didn't come out after I told him what happened to her. If he actually is inside the breaker room. Was ja immer noch nicht klar ist. Und ich verstehe auch nicht, warum die so daran festhalten, dass da jemand drin sein muss. So Kodoba had actually loved Momoko? And to quite a great extent, it seemed. It was weird to imagine that guy being serious about a girl and having actual feelings for her. He was always acting like such a pervert and as though he didn't care for anything, but, you know, so this certainly came as quite the surprise. It almost made me feel a little bad for him, too. If his love for her had been genuine, getting rejected so many times must have been really devastating. Still, I couldn't really blame Momoko for it, considering that guy's personality. Okay, dann können wir noch mit Runa reden, mit Rie, mit Mika und mit Nobara. Reden wir erstmal mit Runa. Kikai-san, Shinpuku-san, I can tell from your expressions that you have many questions. Please don't be shy to ask any of them. I will answer them to the best of my abilities. Thank you, Runa. There are indeed quite a few things I'd like you to tell us. But where to start? Anything you want to hear first, Raiko-chan? Warum stehen hier mal so Fragezeichen? What happened during the blackout? As you might remember, Aiga-san and I tried to calm Mori-san down after a fight with Shiratake-san. After you and Akadori-san had left, Miyamoto-san came over to us so we could set our plan into motion. Of course, she was surprised to hear Mori-san crying, but just when I was about to explain the situation to her, we suddenly heard the sliding doors open again. We couldn't recognize her during the lack of light, but Miyamoto-san immediately knew it has to be Tamashi-san. She yelled after her, but Tamashi-san wouldn't really listen and simply ran off. While I was still confused as to what was going on, Mori-san suddenly pushed me aside and ran off herself. Yelling after her also proved to be rather pointless, since she was extremely concerned about her friend. Aiga-san immediately decided to follow. Okay. I was quite worried about Mori-san myself, so I followed her as well, as did Shiratake-san. Also die erste, die den Raum verlassen hat, war Mika. Wie es scheint. Ne? Und dann ist Momoko rausgerannt. Und dann ist als erstes Carmen hinterhergelaufen. Und dann Runa. Und Hiro. Sind Hiro und Runa dann zusammengelaufen? Auf jeden Fall kam als erste von den dreien raus. So the three of them had left the dining hall in order to chase after Momoko while Rie, Kotoba and Taiko had stayed behind. This was nothing new. What followed next, however, was going to be of the utmost importance. There was a bit of moonlight illuminating the corridor, but it was still pretty dark and our field of vision was therefore rather limited. If Mori-san had run down the corridor, she had already been swallowed by the darkness. I quickly checked the kitchen since it is located opposite of the dining hall, but she wasn't there. So, since all guest rooms on the first floor are locked, we headed directly towards the other end of the hallway. While Aiga-san and I checked the restrooms, Shiratake-san went into the reception. But Mori-san was nowhere to be found. Okay. Also war Hiro, während die anderen beiden auf den Toiletten waren, war Hiro in der Reception und hatte da Zeit, das Telefon tatsächlich auch abzutrennen. Warum wirklich alles deutet gerade auf Hiro als Mörder hin? So she could have only run up or downstairs. So she could only have run up or downstairs. Yes. We knew Shinpuku-san and Akadori-san were in the basement, so Mori-san would have run into them. That is why we decided to check the upper floors instead. Ja, und Mika-chan war ja auch unten, ne? I see. How fast were you moving, by the way? Well, as fast as it was possible. Of course, we had to be careful due to the darkness, especially when climbing the stairs. And in my case, my kimono rather restricts freedom of leg movement, so I couldn't run all too fast. That is actually why Shiratake-san and Aiga-san ran ahead. Okay, also war sie dann auch abgespalten von den anderen. Oh, so you actually didn't stick together? No. To be honest, when I reached the second floor, I wasn't quite sure if they were there or if they had directly headed for the third floor. Okay. Das heißt, wir müssen nochmal mit Carmen oder Hiro reden, weil die beiden sich später nochmal aufgeteilt hat, als die wahrscheinlich aus der Sichtweite von Runa schon waren. I quickly realized that it must have been the latter, however, as I did not come across them when I walked to the far end of the hallway. All the while calling out for Mori-san, of course, but never getting a reply. Did you see if the guest room where we later found Momoko was already open at that time? Like downstairs, there was a bit of moonlight falling into the corridor, but it was still fairly dark, and I did not pay special attention to any of the doors. After all, they should have been locked anyway. That said, however, it must have been open. What makes you think that? Well, when the lights went back on and I turned around, I could see Aiga-san and Shiratake-san at the other end of the corridor near the staircase. They must have just come back from the third floor. It was then that I noticed that one of the guest rooms was open, which quite surprised me. The three of us headed towards it and, well, that was when we found her. Sehr verdächtig, dass sie die erste war, die da war. So that was what had happened upstairs during the blackout, huh? I would have loved to immediately compare Runa's story to Carmen's and Hiro's version of it, but I guess that had to wait for a little while longer. Okay. Es war also im Prinzip möglich, dass Hiro und Runa sich zusammengetan haben, um Momoko zu beseitigen, weil ihrer geheimen Liebe stand Momoko im Weg. Ich meine, wenn es Komplizen gibt, dann wäre die Sache viel einfacher zu erklären, oder? I would have loved to immediately compare Runa's story to Carmen's and Hiro's versions of it, but I guess that I had to wait for it a little while longer. I definitely had to make sure to keep all of this in mind though. It certainly opened doors for some very interesting theories. Genau, was ist denn mit der Beziehung zwischen Momoko und Hiro? You said something rather interesting after that argument between Hiro and Momoko. Something about it being partly Momoko's fault? What exactly did you mean by that? Shiratake-san might have started the argument with his ghost story, but in the end Mori-san is to blame for everything. What Shiratake-san accused her for is the truth after all. So you're saying Momoko really was an obsessive girlfriend? One should not talk ill of the dead, so I don't want to further comment on that. Take that as you will. I see. Let me at least ask this though. How would you even know that what Hiro accused of her is the truth? Ja, das ist eine gute Frage. I honestly never got that impression of her. It's due to some personal confrontations I had with her. Let's just say she didn't seem fond of me talking to Shiratake-san, weil du ja auch in ihn verknallt bist. Und vielleicht hattet ihr ja wirklich so eine Art Affäre miteinander und... Also ich halte es mittlerweile sogar schon für wahrscheinlich, dass Runa und Hiro zusammengearbeitet haben. So Momoko had gotten jealous whenever Runa had tried talking to Hiro. If what Hiro accused her of is in fact true, I guess it put a lot of strain on their relationship. Do you think that's the reason for, well, you know... I cannot see any other reason, to be honest. Mori-san was a very shy and introverted person. She seemed extremely attached to the few people close to her, to Aiga-san and Shiratake-san. So if she got the idea that one of them betrayed her, that Shiratake-san cheated on her in some way, or that he didn't reciprocate her feelings anymore, I think it's quite plausible that she might have committed suicide because of that. Na, das klingt jetzt so, als willst du mir irgendwie was erzählen, um von dir als Verdächtige abzulenken. Als möchtest du es unbedingt so aussehen lassen, dass das ein Selbstmord war. It is probably just like Akadori-san said. That argument must have been the final straw to convince Mori-san that Shiratake-san was tired of her. Maybe. I guess it was beyond dispute that the relationship between Hiro and Momoko was a core element in what has caused tonight's events. However, I still wasn't so sure it was as simple as Runa had just made it out to be. Ja, ich glaube, dass sie da mit drin steckt und sie und Hiro zusammen sein wollten. I really would have liked to hear about their relationship in more detail, but I guess that had to wait until Hiro and Carmen finally got back. Was ist Fragezeichen? Kann ich noch nicht nehmen. Ich muss erst noch andere Sachen fragen. Okay. I understand. If there's anything I can help you with, however, please let me know. Yeah, I will. Thanks. Wir können also, auch indem wir noch mit anderen Leuten reden, noch andere Optionen hier bei Runa freischalten. Interessant. Talk to Rie. Okay, so what exactly do you want to hear from me? There isn't much I can tell you in regards to the first blackout. Ja, und Rie war ja sowieso irgendwie während des Blackouts, obwohl sie war hier, ne? Sie ist erst später rausgelaufen. I mean, I stayed here with you and Kodoba until the lights went back on. And I already told you everything Raiko-chan, Nobara-chan and I experienced after that, so... Ja, aber was war in der Zeit, wo wir... bevor wir beide uns getroffen haben? There are still a few other things we'd like to know, right? Yes. Alright. Then just ask away, I guess. Was waren deine eigentlichen Pläne für heute? My original plans? What good would it be for you guys to know about that? Well, like I said before, I'm pretty sure that first blackout played a very big part in what happened here. So it's hard to say your Halloween program for tonight is unrelated. Well, if you say so. I guess there's no point in keeping it a secret now anyways. Und Runa war ja in diese ganze Halloween-Sache involviert. Das heißt, sie kannte den Ablauf der Pläne. Also das ist dann wieder irgendwie ein bisschen verdächtig. And so Rie began explaining to us how she had originally envisioned this night to unfold. Up until her return to the dining hall after she had caused the first power outage, everything was pretty much just as I had presented it to Bara-chan on our way to the breaker room. So no surprise there. After that, however, it started to get interesting. So then you sent Bara-chan and me to take care of the sudden power outage. But what happened after that? Or rather, what was supposed to happen after that? Runa and I prepared a rather eventful program for tonight. Mostly staged stuff. You know, little plays and such. The first one was supposed to happen right here during the first blackout. In the afternoon we painted the bottom sides of the tatami mats red. Our plan was to flip them over in the darkness and Runa was supposed to lie on top of the splatters. I also hid a rubber knife and a bag of fake blood around here. So you were going to pretend that Runa had been murdered. Yeah. Runa was gonna play the victim while I was going to take the part of the psychotic murderer. Carmen was also gonna help by creating some more panic and making it more believable. Also war sie auch eingeweiht. Aha. I want to scold you for trying to pull such a morbid prank on us, and I can't believe Runa was going to play along with it. But it sounds like something that would have been rather easy to see through. So I guess I can let it slide. Still, never even think about something like that again. Playing with your friends' emotions like that for just the sake of a prank is just... Well, I guess I don't even need to say it. Yes, I know. Dabei wollte sie doch nur ihn beeindrucken. And I'm really sorry. Now that it actually happened, I really have no idea what I was thinking. Well, as long as you realize that it's wrong, that's fine. From now on, just keep in mind that there are some sorts of pranks you shouldn't pull on your friends. Or anyone for that matter. Yes. Anywho. You wanted to scare us by pretending to kill Runa, and then? I only wanted to give you guys a quick scare once the lights went back on. After that I wanted to do something else. Something I wanted everyone to get involved in. In order to give Bara-chan and me a good scare upon our return, correct? Yeah. Scaring you was the main goal of tonight, and I thought if I got everyone to help with that, we'd definitely succeed. Wait a sec. You wanted everyone to get involved in it, and you wanted to tell us about that once the lights were back on and after shocking us with Luna's fake death? Yep. So you expected us to calm down and then listen to you explain your plan in the short time Raiko-chan and Nobara-chan would have needed to get back here? And you expected all of us to be fine with it and play along? You actually expected that to work? Kinda? That's a lot of expecting. Come on. It always worked out perfectly whenever I played it through. In your head. Ja. In ihrem Kopf hat sie ja auch Happy Halloween richtig geschrieben, ne? As always, it looked as though Rie's plans had more holes in them than Swiss cheese. Well, things unfortunately didn't go as planned anyways. We didn't even get to prepare anything for the Runa is dead prank. I would have never expected Momoko to be crying and Kodoba to be hurt once I got back here. Hurt in Anführungszeichen. And then on top of all that, Mika suddenly opened the sliding doors and ran off. And shortly afterwards, Momoko followed. And then Carmen, Runa and Hiro as well. And we already know the rest of the story. Only you, Kodoba and I remained here. And only because we didn't want to leave an injured friend behind. Yeah, an injured friend. So that's how it's been. After hearing Runa's and Carmen's screams and noticing that no one was coming back to the dining hall, Rie had then decided to go take a look herself, which was when Bara-chan and I had met her in the hallway. And like Taiko had already said, we knew the rest of the story. I guess in the end, we hadn't really learned anything new at all. When Rie asked if we wanted to know about the rest of her Halloween program as well, we shook our heads. It was rather doubtful that any of it would have contained any useful information either. There was one thing of interest that she had mentioned, however, and I definitely needed her to elaborate on it a little. Ja. Ah, okay. Genau, wer genau wusste alles von deinen Plänen? Eben hat sie nämlich gesagt, dass Carmen auch eingeweiht war. Who else knew about your plans? Earlier, you mentioned that Carmen was going to help out with the little play you had prepared for the others tonight, right? So I guess that means she was involved in your plans for tonight? Yeah, she was. Unfortunately? Unfortunately? What do you mean by that? Well, originally, it was supposed to be just me and Runa, but Carmen overheard one of our conversations at school. And when she heard of our plans to give Raiko-chan the scare of a lifetime, she really wanted to be part of it. We didn't have much of a choice but to involve her, since she was threatening to tell everyone about our plans and ruin them. Warum? Das ist doch voll arschig. And it was already too late to try coming up with something new, so yeah. How long ago was that then? A little over a week ago. On Friday, I think. Also konnte sie sich auch darauf einstellen. Und sie war die Erste, die rausgegangen ist, nachdem Momoko den Raum verlassen hat. Aber sie hat noch kein richtiges Motiv, finde ich. And how much exactly did Carmen know about your Halloween program for tonight? Literally anything. We even did a few rehearsals over the last couple of days, playing everything through in order to make sure it would go smoothly. Here, in this resort. Of course! I needed the two of them to know this place in and out for what I had planned. Das heißt, Carmen wusste sogar, kannte sogar das Layout von diesem ganzen Resort und hatte schon die Möglichkeit, sich darauf vorzubereiten, was passiert mit Breaker Room und allem Möglichen. We needed to come here in order to decorate the dining hall anyways. I see. And apart from Runa and Carmen, did anyone else ever come here before? Nope, only those two. Alright, thanks. Guess I don't have any other questions concerning this topic. You, Raiko-chan? Es ist also möglich, dass entweder Runa oder Carmen einen Zweitschlüssel haben anfertigen lassen. Weil das war ja schon eine Woche oder so her, wo sie davon erfahren hat und seitdem waren die regelmäßig hier. Und da hätte sie vielleicht so einen Abdruck machen können von diesem Schlüssel und den Schlüssel kopieren lassen können. Ich kenne mich damit nicht so gut aus, aber irgendwie wird das schon möglich sein. Auch wenn ich nicht weiß, ob sich Carmen damit auskennt. Guess I don't have any other questions concerning this topic. You, Raiko-chan? Just to make sure, Runa and Carmen knew there was going to be a power outage tonight, right? Yeah, I couldn't leave them in the dark about that. In the dark. You know, like literally. So Runa and Carmen had known about the power outage beforehand. And not only that, they had even known about the resort's layout as well. I couldn't imagine Runa telling anyone about that, as to not ruin her best friend's plan, but Carmen? I wasn't so sure about her. Stimmt, sie könnte das auch einfach verraten haben. Considering how close she had been to Momoko, she might have told her about Rie's plans at some point. And Momoko would have further relayed that information to Hiro. In any case, there was at least a possibility that a lot more people had known about tonight's program than just the 3 who had actually been involved in the party's preparations. Zumindest die ganze Clique um Momoko rum, zu der ja Kotoba und Taiko gar nicht gehören, weshalb er wahrscheinlich nichts davon weiß. About Momoko. Momoko, I can't help but feel all of this is my fault. I really shouldn't have invited her and Hiro. If I hadn't, none of this would have happened. Come on, don't say silly things like that. It's not your fault. You couldn't have known this was gonna happen. No one could have. Außer der Killer. Besides, speculating about what-if scenarios is just as pointless as blaming yourself. It's not gonna change the facts. Maybe, but still, it's kinda hard not to think about this stuff considering I almost didn't invite them. Would you mind telling us the reason for that? Ja, warum wolltest du sie eigentlich nicht einladen? Wegen Runa, weil Runa Gefühle für Hiro hatte? Well, she was probably referring to what she had mentioned to Barachan and me during dinner. If I recalled correctly, she originally hadn't wanted to invite Momoko and Hiro because of Runa. Runa? She was the reason you didn't want to invite them? Well, actually, I shouldn't be telling you this. It's kinda private stuff, you know? It's already bad enough that me and my big blabbermouth mentioned this to Raiko-chan and Nobara-chan earlier. Well, if so many people already know about it, it won't matter if there's one more, right? Don't pull that one on me again. If you won't tell me, I'm just gonna ask Raiko-chan instead. Guess I can't stop you from that, but I can't go around spilling my best friend's secrets to anyone. Runa's gonna die of embarrassment if even more peeps know. That she's in love with Hiro. Das hat er jetzt erraten, ne? You knew about it? Oh, so she is? Wait, what? What? You tricked me! Ah, come on. It wasn't too hard to put 2 and 2 together from what you told me just now. You just confirmed my suspicion. God dang it! Am I really that easy to see through? Ich meine, was erwartest du von jemandem, der Happy Halloween mit E schreibt? 2-mal. Oh, Rie. If she had been any more transparent, she would have been a ghost. So, Runa and Hiro, huh? That's kinda unexpected. Wouldn't say those two would fit well together. And didn't she complain a lot about him at the start of the school year? I always got the impression she couldn't really stand him. Vielleicht weil sie verschleiern wollte, dass sie mit ihm in einer Affäre ist? She couldn't. At least until that magical day happened. Magical day? Remember her bicycle accident? Wait, don't tell me that's when. Bingo! Dann hat sie sich verliebt. Runa's bicycle accident. So that's when she had fallen for him? It happened early September, on the first day after summer break. I hadn't been there to witness it, but as far as I knew, Runa had twisted her ankle during the accident, rendering her unable to get up. Hiro had just so happened to be nearby and had actually carried her all the way to the infirmary. Apparently, he had even stayed there with her until the nurse had allowed her to go. When I visited her that evening, she kept talking non-stop about how nice and gentle Hiro had been. It was really weird. Just like that, she suddenly saw him in a very different light. Ja, manchmal sollte man ein Buch nicht nach dem Einband beurteilen, ne? Aber das macht's jetzt wieder noch wahrscheinlicher, dass Runa in der ganzen Sache involviert ist. The following week, Hiro actually seemed to show quite an interest in her as well. He even asked her out on multiple occasions, but apparently his interest in her vanished just as quickly as it popped up. From one day to the next, he suddenly wouldn't pay much attention to her anymore, even though he had promised her to take her out to the movies. What a jerk. Okay. Also doch nichts mit geheimer Liebesbeziehung. Weil scheinbar hatte er ja zuerst Interesse in Runa gehabt und danach erst in Momoko. Did something happen? I don't know. And Runa apparently doesn't have a clue either. I'm assuming it's because of Momoko. The cultural festival was just 2 weeks after her accident. After Momoko had a big performance there, a lot of guys were all over her. Hiro being one of them. And as well as we all know, he was the one to get together with her. Right. That was late September, so the two of them had been together for almost exactly a month now. Yep. Must have been really hard on Runa, huh? I guess that's the reason why you didn't want to invite those two. Yeah. It's been over a month now since all that she keeps telling me she's over it. But I know her well enough to tell she's still got feelings for him. And you know how Momoko and Hiro are together. I just wanted to spare her that sight. Makes sense. Vor allem Hiro. Ne, weil der komischerweise hat er die ganze Zeit darauf rumgeritten, dass das doch sein Schätzchen ist und sowas. Und sie meinte, nein, das ist peinlich. Aber ja, dann hat er doch irgendwie wieder rumgezickt, dass sie so klammert und keine Ahnung. Die haben eine komische Beziehung einfach. However, you obviously changed your mind and invited them after all. Why? Because Runa insisted on it. Was wieder dafür sprechen könnte, dass Runa geplant hat, Momoko hier umzubringen. Oh. She was pretty persistent about it, actually. Going on and on about how there's our classmates and all, and that it would have been rude not to invite them. You know how Runa is when it comes to stuff like that. So you just gave in and invited them, huh? Yeah. I see. So the only reason Momoko had even been here tonight was due to Runa's insistence. That certainly was quite an interesting little fact. Taiko didn't even need to say a word when he looked at me. It was obvious that we had to talk to Runa about this topic personally. Anyways, I really shouldn't be telling you more, so that's all you get out of me? That's fine. You weren't exactly stingy with details, so there's nothing left I'd ask. On the contrary, you told us a lot more than I could have ever asked for. Oh, Runa's not gonna be happy when she hears about this. Yeah. At least promise me not to tell anyone else about this stuff, okay? Don't worry. Unlike you, I'm actually good at keeping secrets. Ja, jetzt ist sie beleidigt. So, mit Mika können wir noch reden, mit Nobara und scheinbar kommt später noch irgendwer dazu, von dem wir noch nicht wissen, wer es ist. Irgendwer kommt nachher scheinbar noch wieder. Können wir mit Runa wollten wir jetzt nochmal über Hiro reden, genau. Das haben wir ja jetzt freigeschaltet, ne? About Hiro. So, Rie told us something rather interesting. She said that she originally didn't want to invite Hiro and Momoko and only did so because you insisted on it. Is that true? Yes, that would be correct. Could you please tell us why you insisted on inviting them? Why would I not? It would have been incredibly rude not to invite them. There are our classmates after all. Und dein Plan wäre nicht aufgegangen, wenn die Hauptdarsteller nicht hier wären, ne? Besides, if we had not invited Mori-san, Aiga-san would not have come either. And what kind of party would that have been? Ja, dann wären halt noch Mika da, Raiko, Nobara, Runa, Rie, Taiko und der Perversling. Wäre doch voll die coole Gruppe. As you might recall, Ginmaku-san is throwing her own Halloween party tonight, and many of our classmates had already decided to attend hers. So from the beginning we were not that many. Ah, du hattest Angst, dass zum Beispiel Mika und so dann auch dahin gehen würden. Right, no wonder why Rie was so furious about Kenji and his friends attending Misaki's party instead. Indeed. Now imagine if Mori-san, Aiga-san and Shiratake-san hadn't come either. Although in retrospect you could say it might have been better that way. Maybe. In any event, I only wanted this party to become a success and couldn't accept how Miyamoto-san decided not to invite some of our friends due to rather absurd reasons. Like you having feelings for Hiro. Excuse me? Rie told us about it. She said that's the reason why she didn't want to invite them. I cannot believe Miyamoto-san would tell you that. Ja, hat sie aber. Aber es ist kein Grund, ihr das so ins Gesicht zu sagen. So it is true then. Well, I might have had feelings for Shiratake-san, but that's all in the past now. I keep telling Miyamoto-san that, but she simply refuses to believe me. So the two of them coming here didn't bother you? Of course not. Is that so? You didn't hate Momoko then? What kind of question is that? Hate for what? Dafür, dass sie die Hiro weggenommen hat? Shiratake-san is simply chose her over me. That is all there is to it. Of course I didn't hate Mori-san for it. On the contrary, I even wanted to become friends with her. That is also the reason why I agreed to this partner cosplay. Oh right, I had almost forgotten about that. Stimmt, die beiden haben dasselbe Cosplay getragen. Hast du dieses Cosplay vorgetragen? Also im Prinzip wurde das ja jetzt sogar damit bestätigt, dass sie das Cosplay vorgeschlagen hat und somit auch hätte den Mord planen können mit dem Seil. Alright, I had almost forgotten about that. Even though it's been there in front of me the whole time. Whose idea was that again? The costumes? That would have been Mori-san's idea. Why? Sicher? Just curious. In any event, I don't know what exactly Miyamoto-san told you, but there seems to be a big misunderstanding. I do not possess any feelings for Shiratake-san. I do not hate Mori-san, and I certainly did not mind them being here. Besides, I fail to see how any of this is of importance here. So, I would appreciate it if you would refrain from asking any further questions regarding my privacy. Sie wirkt aber schon irgendwie verdächtig. Right. Sorry, Runa. I didn't mean to be intrusive. Wow, that glare. By her standards, Runa seemed pretty pissed. But I guess Taiko had gone a little too far with his rather direct questions. Anyway, we might not have learned much of anything new, but this conversation still had been rather interesting. It's hard to say if she actually does still have feelings for Hiro, but one thing was for sure. This was quite the sensitive topic to her. So, wir können noch mit Mika reden und mit Nobara. Okay, Mika. You were the first one to disappear after Rie sent Raiko-chan and Nobara-chan to the breaker room. Please tell us why you just ran off like that and what exactly you were doing after you left. Ja, sie wollte uns erschrecken. Isn't it obvious? Mika followed Raiko and Nobara to the basement. It was a blackout. Mika couldn't waste such an opportunity. An opportunity? For what? Scaring Raiko to death, of course. So, you wanted to use the darkness to your advantage then? A coup! Did you notice you were being followed, Raiko-chan? No. In retrospect, I should have figured as much, but my mind was occupied with other things. I see. So, you followed them downstairs without being detected, and then? It took a while for Mika to arrive, because it was so dark and Mika didn't feel like face planting. But when Mika got to the breaker room, she peeked through the door and observed Raiko and Nobara all stealthy-like, waiting for the right moment to strike. Ja, nachdem sie da bereits vor dieser Spinne Angst hatte, ne? But if you wanted to use the darkness to your advantage, then why did you wait until we had already switched the lights back on before you tried scaring us? Because that was the right moment to strike. Mika had to attack when Raiko was least expecting it. And who would expect a stealthy Mika hiding outside the door in broad ceiling light? Are you telling me you'd basically been waiting in front of the breaker room the whole time? Akoo! Uh-huh. And when they finally left, you tried scaring Raiko-chan and Nobara-chan, correct? Hat sie das gesehen mit der Spinne? Akoo! And then the three of you heard Carmen's and Runa's screams and you quickly ran up to the second floor. Akoo! And afterwards you escorted Runa to the first floor restrooms and then returned with her to the dining hall, yes? Lass mich raten. Akoo? Akoo! I see. Well, I guess that's all we needed to know. Thanks. Akoo! Ich glaube, sie ist hängen geblieben. Well, as expected, we hadn't really learned much from her. Only that she had been the first to leave the dining hall, and that she had apparently followed us, spending basically the entire first blackout in front of the breaker room observing us. But was that really the truth? It was hard to tell how much time we had needed exactly, but it sure had taken us quite a while to turn the power back on. There would have definitely been more than enough time for her to make a quick stop somewhere else. Wir können auch mit Nobara reden. So, you guys doing the questioning together, huh? I guess that means I'm next. Ja, eigentlich waren wir mit ihr die ganze Zeit zusammen, da lernen wir nichts Neues, ne? Where's Taike-kun though? I told him that I wanted to talk to you alone. Huh? Why? Ain't you gonna question me together? There's no need to question you at all. I already told him everything I know, and since you were with me the whole time, there wouldn't be anything new for you to add. Oh, I see. I just wanted to check up on you, so... How are you? Feeling okay? Well, what do you think? I'm scared as fuck. We're stuck here in the middle of nowhere and can't call our parents? And if that wasn't already bad enough, there's all this weird shit going on. Doors that should be open and locked, doors that should be locked are open. It's dark, it's cold, it's creepy. Koto-kun just went missing and then there's that whole thing about Momo. She's dead. Dead! You know what that means? We ain't gonna get to see her ever again. She's gone. Just gone. Barrett-chan. Ja. Sie ist so ziemlich die, von der wir am ehesten wissen, dass sie es nicht gewesen sein kann, weil sie bei uns war die ganze Zeit. Her entire body was visibly trembling as she clenched her fist and lowered her head. She tried hiding her face, but despite her falling hair blocking the view, I could still see her tears, dropping to the floor right in front of her feet. Just how did things turn out this way? Her voice was almost drowned in sadness. Nevertheless, she forced herself to continue. To think we'd been talking to her like normal just a short while ago and now we'll never be able to talk to her ever again. Nachdem sie noch zu euch gesagt hat, sie wird gern öfter mit euch reden, ne? Just why did this have to happen? And it ain't just like that. It ain't just that. I'm scared. I'm scared of what's gonna happen next. What all of this means. I just can't. Aww. When her voice caved in completely, Barrett-chan threw herself at me with such a force that I almost fell backwards. I managed to keep my balance, however, slung my arms around her and pressed her as tightly against me as possible. Now I could not only see her body trembling, but also felt it. feel it trembling from the from the fear and sadness that had been building up inside this whole time. My poor Bara-chan. I could well imagine how heavily all of this must have been weighing on her. The fact that someone had purposely isolated us from the outside world, all those strange mysteries we had encountered so far, Momoko's death. We had gotten wrapped up in something truly scary. She had every reason to cry, every reason to be afraid. Even I, as I was holding her like this, noticed my vision started to get slightly blurry. It wasn't because I was scared though, nor was it because of Momoko. Of course, I was also sad about her death. But even though this probably sounded rather cold, I wasn't sad enough to shed even a single tear for her. I just hadn't been close enough to her to care that much. But I was too close to Bara-chan, so seeing her in such distress was unbearable for me. Ich muss ganz ehrlich sagen, ich bin auch ein Mensch, den es eher traurig macht, andere Leute traurig zu sehen, als traurig zu sein, weil jemand stirbt. Ist einfach so. Das habe ich auch, halt auch gemerkt, als mein Großvater damals gestorben ist. Ich war halt auf der Beerdigung und ich habe nicht geweint. Und ich musste auch nicht weinen. Und das Einzige, was mich so ein bisschen traurig gemacht hat, waren die anderen Leute, die geweint haben. Ist einfach so. Aber ich habe auch dann nicht geweint. Ich weiß nicht warum, aber ich konnte einfach in dem Moment nicht weinen. Ich kann irgendwie nur... Ich weiß es nicht. Kann nur bei traurigen Filmszenen oder sowas weinen, wenn das mit Musik begleitet ist. Ich wette, ich würde nicht mal weinen, wenn die musikalische Komponente nicht dabei ist. In Musik ist irgendwas drin, was Sachen noch viel trauriger macht, als sie eigentlich sind. Aber ich schweife ab. Bei mir ist es auch so, ich bin niemand, der Emotionen großartig gut zeigen kann. Ja. Ich bin eigentlich so... Ich weiß nicht, ich würde mich selbst als Kudere bezeichnen einfach. Ist so. Ne? Ich weine nicht oft. Und wenn ich weine, dann, weil es irgendwelche Filmszenen, Anime-Szenen, Videospielszenen sind, die eine sehr, sehr traurige Musik dabei haben. Aber so an sich im Real Life weine ich nicht wirklich. Ist halt so. Ich kann aber verstehen, wenn man weint, weil andere traurig sind. Und ich wollte nur sagen, mir geht es wahrscheinlich ähnlich wie sie. Ich hätte eher wegen der Vorstellung geweint, dass jemand anderes traurig ist, als wegen der Vorstellung, dass jemand tot ist. Es ist einfach so... Ich weiß nicht, es ist bei mir auch so... Jetzt wird es halt... Das wird gerade richtig deep einfach, aber... Es ist mir scheißegal. Falls das für euch zu sensibel ist, das Thema Tod und so, dann guckt kein Spiel, in dem es um Tod geht. So, bei mir ist es halt auch so, dass für mich der Tod halt ein natürlicher Teil des Lebens ist und das Leben endet nun mal mit dem Tod und der ist nicht vermeintlich und der ist nicht vermeidbar, meine ich nicht. Und ja, es ist für mich halt auch so, ich persönlich, ich habe keine Angst vor dem Tod. Ich habe vor vielen Dingen Angst, aber nicht davor, dass irgendwann alles vorbei ist. Ich habe keine Angst vor dem Tod. Ich weiß nicht, warum ich auch Angst davor haben sollte, weil wenn ich tot bin, interessiert es mich nicht, dass ich tot bin. Es ist halt so, wenn da einfach nichts... Ich habe keine Angst davor, dass da nichts mehr ist. Wenn da nichts mehr ist, ist da nichts mehr. Also habe ich auch dann überhaupt keine Situation mehr, mit der ich leben muss. Weil da nichts ist. Ist halt so. Weil ich glaube halt auch nicht an die Hölle oder irgendwie sowas. Ich glaube halt einfach, wenn man stirbt, ist da nichts. Dann hört einfach alles auf zu funktionieren. Man sieht nichts mehr, man hört nichts mehr, man fühlt nichts mehr, man denkt nicht mehr, es ist gar nichts mehr. Und wenn da gar nichts mehr ist, dann macht man sich in der Situation auch überhaupt halt keine Gedanken mehr oder irgendwas. Es ist halt kein Zustand, den man fühlen kann, wenn da nichts ist. Und ich habe keine Angst vor etwas, was ich nicht fühlen kann, beziehungsweise was ich nicht erleben kann. Und weil der Tod nun mal das Gegenteil vom Leben ist der Tod nichts, was man erleben kann. Ich habe Angst vor Dingen, die ich erleben kann, die ich mitkriegen kann. Wo ich bei Bewusstsein bin, wo ich alles vollkommen mitkriege. Davor habe ich Angst. Aber doch nicht davor, dass ich nichts mitkriege. Davor habe ich keine Angst. Ist halt so. So ist das Thema Tod für mich. Und deswegen bin ich halt auch nicht traurig, wenn jemand anderes tot ist, weil ich sehe im Tod keine wirkliche Verschlechterung gegenüber dem Leben. Es ist einfach nur ein anderer Zustand. Das heißt nicht, dass er schlechter ist. Ist halt einfach so. Aber wenn jemand anderes traurig ist, weil jemand gestorben ist, das geht mir schon eher ans Herz als einfach nur der Tod selbst. Jetzt habe ich lange genug darüber geredet, dass ich ein gefühlskalter Bastard bin und wir machen jetzt einfach mal weiter. I had always prayed to never again have to see her like this. Next to losing someone I loved, I couldn't imagine anything worse. Warum nie wieder? Heißt es, du hast sie schon mal so gesehen? I couldn't even really explain why, but whenever I saw her cry, I just wanted to cry too. However, I had to pull myself together and stay focused. Also wenn ich jetzt eine Person hätte, die ich absolut nicht weinen sehen kann, wo ich auch das Bedürfnis hätte zu weinen, wenn ich weinen könnte. Eine Person, die ich nicht weinen sehen kann, ist zum Beispiel meine Oma. Ist einfach so. Wenn die weint, dann blutet mir das Herz, ja. Aber weinen kann ich selbst dann trotzdem nicht. Aber trotzdem ist es so, dass... Das ist halt so diese Situation, wo ich dann auch gerne weinen würde. However, I just had to pull myself together and stay focused. Focused on figuring out what was going on here, as well as how to get out of this mess. For Bara-chan's sake, more than anyone else. Sorry, I didn't mean to jump at you like that. It's just... I know, and it's okay. If it makes you feel better, you can throw yourself at me like that as many times as you want, whenever you want. That's what friends are for, right? I'm so glad you came here with me. I wouldn't know what to do without you. Still? I just wish I hadn't accepted Rie's invitation in the first place. I should have listened to ya. I should have just stayed home. Aber das hätte Momoko auch nicht gerettet. It's pointless to lament your decision now. Obwohl, vielleicht hätte es sie doch gerettet. Weil dann hätten die den ganzen Blackout-Plan nicht durchgezogen, ne? Besides, no one could have known things would go down like this. But rest assured, I'm here. And I will stay at your side, no matter what happens. That's what I came here for, right? Yes! There's no reason to be afraid. Just leave everything up to me. I'll figure out what's going on here. And I'll find a way to turn the power back on. I promise. Thanks! I know I can't counter ya! Obwohl den Blackout-Plan hätten sie dann trotzdem durchgezogen, ne? A smile. For an instant I saw a smile flashing across her lips. And it gave me even more motivation to fulfill the promise I had just given her. Sonst kommt keiner mehr. End-Questioning war das andere. Ja gut, dann hören wir mal auf mit den Befragungen, ne? I think we've heard all the really important stuff now, so I guess we could stop the questioning. Unless you have anything else left you would like to ask the others. Actually, hold on a sec. Okay, just let me know whenever you're ready. Yes. Naja, wir können mit keinem mehr wirklich reden, also bleibt uns ja nichts anderes übrig, ne? Ja, komm, end questioning. Alright. New notebook entries have been added. X page for Kodobas profile has been added. X page for Runa's profile has been added. So, that concluded the questioning. Ich würde sagen, beim nächsten Mal sehen wir uns hier an dieser Stelle wieder. Bis dann, Leute. Ciao.